Y'all, 2025 is tripping. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Monique, and welcome to Medora Budgets. I'd like to thank anybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, and especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. Truly started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. So if you are rocking with me on this journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't made up your mind yet, sit with me for a spell. At the end of this video, if it's content you find valuable or enjoyable, please feel free to subscribe. It's myself and Sweets, married with a whole bunch of kids, trying to figure out our future family and finances so the decisions we're making now won't negatively impact us in the future. Today is Thursday, March the 6th, and tomorrow is Friday. Hey, it's Friday. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day. Monique, it's on you. So what you gonna do? I'm going to get my praise on, and I'm going to get my Nana's babysitting on, and I'm going to get my service on all weekend long. Hey, so it's Friday. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day. Hey, y'all, it's on you. So what you going to do? Please leave down in the comments what you're going to be doing this weekend. Let me know what you got going on. I will be volunteering. Our church is doing a food distribution on Saturday, and typically I don't volunteer as a part of this ministry, but one of the gentlemen that attends our church that is deaf, he wants to volunteer, and so because I am a part of the ministry, we do try to go out and support to make sure that they feel comfortable while they're in their ministry time. And so he wants to volunteer for that day, so I will be there supporting him. Got to get up early in the morning on Saturday, but it's all good. It's for a good reason, and I just love it. All right, so we are here to do a budget with me for the week of the check I'm going to receive on tomorrow, on March the 7th, right? So a couple of things I need to cover though before then. Well, one thing for sure, no, two things for sure, and then we will go ahead and get into the budget. So I am currently still trying to set up for March, y'all. It's just that's what it is. It's one of them days, and so I am trying to figure out the March, and I don't think I'm actually going to set any goals for the month, because it is yesterday, the 5th, was, Ash Wednesday. So I went and got my ashes, and we're starting into our Lenten season. So that's going to be really a goal of mine, is just to try and do the things that I'm supposed to do during our Lent season with the Lenten guide that our church passes out. But with that said, I did want to say one of the things that Tara at Journey to Wisdom and Wealth created several months ago was a faith bingo, and she did this. I bought it a long time ago. I asked her whether or not she was going to make it available. She did, and I did go ahead and get it from her Ko-Fi shop. And so, but my plan was always to do this as a part of my Lent season. So as my way of continuing in those efforts and supporting from now through Resurrection Sunday. Then from a budget perspective, I am doing a no spend challenge for myself for the month of March. This no spend challenge came from Taj at Beautiful Budgets. It is free. She has, I don't know if it's a Ko-Fi shop. I think it's a Ko-Fi shop I got it from. But if you go to her page or YouTube channel, you'll be able to link to the no spend challenge that she has for March. And so one of the things that I recognize, and I'll just go back really quickly to show you guys in February what's going on. So I have not done a lot of the expense tracking videos that I did before, just because it's been a lot to try and do everything that I need to do. Plus Nana duties are first and foremost and a priority for me. Plus I'm taking sign ministry classes weekly right now. So there's a lot going on, but I am still tracking. So I am doing this. I want you guys to know I'm still being consistent, doing all of my tracking for the week, and then writing out my categories, highlighting everything in the appropriate colors, and then going in and documenting these into my monthly spreadsheets that I'm keeping, which gives all of my amounts like this for each week. Okay. So I am still going through that. But what I realized is that Tracking my expenses this way is a little bit misleading. The reason why this has become a little bit challenging is because I have debt payments in here, utility payments in here. I do have my meds or my groceries, etc., but I also have subscriptions, etc. So I'm constantly pulling from my sinking funds in order to accommodate the costs that I have here. And I knew that going into it, either pulling from that or pulling from bills buffer, etc. My transfer Tuesdays that I do, sometimes those come out of these accounts, etc. So why is that a problem? It's because I see this number $655 for a week, and it doesn't alarm me because I knew I was going to have a lot of the money that is covered in this. I was going to pull it from my sinking funds. But what is happening is, because of that, my variable expenses, the piece that has always been the one that the part that I always have to be more conscious of and make sure that I'm paying more attention to, are my variable expenses, and that's lost within these numbers. So what I decided to do for the month of March, not necessarily the no spend as the big thing, but it's more so, how am I going to track my variable expenses? So that's the groceries, gas, home, over-the-counter meds, etc. How am I going to track those to make sure that I can see very clearly how I am spending money? So that's why I'm documenting within these little. Now look, Taj, these little squares small, honey. So I got to the first, and I'm going out doing my stuff, and I'm documenting in my iPad. Where I'm spending money, and I'm like, I got no more space, so I guess that means I can't spend no more money. Literally, that's what happened. So this is really, really good for me, okay? I'm just kidding, but this is really good for me. So on the first, here are all of the ways that I spent money in my variable accounts. So that's no debt in there, no utilities in there, no sinking fund use, no nothing. How did I spend my variable money? And I documented it here. And y'all, I hate documenting what I spend this way. It's just so telling for me. So that was Saturday. Sunday, notice we brought it on down. So I had dining and groceries. That was it. A no spend day on Monday, a no spend day on Tuesday. And then yesterday I did spend for coffee, and then I had to get some gas, but other than that, no money was spent outside of that. So this, I'm tracking it a little bit differently, not just that my no spends, but also how I'm spending my variable expenses, so I can see it a little bit clearly here. I'm still going to track it on my expenses that I have on the other pages, but I am also tracking it here as well. All right, so let's get to the budget. Here you go, right here. I'm gonna shift my view just a little bit more, just to make it a little bit more full on. And then let's talk about where we are with these numbers. And so here we go. I said that I was going to roll over some money, and I think I have $25 in my bills buffer account, but I'm actually going to just say zero for the rollover. Leave that in there because, again, you know, I've got to work through these transfer Tuesdays, and we need to see where we end up and how much money we have for those. Bills account, I plan to put $1,500, $825 into my variable account, and Micah should give me $50. So that makes a total of $23.75 that I'm working with. For my fixed expenses, mortgage, split bill payment, I'll set aside $430 for that. $255 will be paid for my auto payment. That is on a split bill as well. AT&T is $96. Water is $40. And Visible is nothing. So I did move my phone over to Visible after I paid the $499.95 for the phone. When I did that move, Sweets was like, please use my code. Please use my code. Please use my code so I can get a month off of my bill. And I said, okay. So with that code, I got $20 off. The plan is $25. So I only had to pay $5 for that. And so I was able to cash flow that, which means I don't have to worry about actually having a bill that I have to worry about for Visible for this coming cycle. Now, Verizon is trying to trip and tell me that I owe them money, like $29 or something. Lies, because not only did I pay off the phone, but the day after I went ahead and moved my phone over. Now, here's where I messed up. I did not cancel a I did not cancel my auto draft before I moved the number over to visible. Why is that important? Because when I moved the number over to visible, it was immediate. They transferred the number over, they ported it that same day, and everything was done. When I go in now to try and go into Verizon to cancel any auto drafts that I might have on there, just to make sure they don't take money out of my account that they're not supposed to, I can't get in no more. None of my numbers work. My email doesn't work. I'm going to have to call them because now I don't have a telephone number associated with a Verizon account any longer. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means it would have canceled any auto drafts as well. I'm not sure. So I will have to call them to figure that part out. What I should have done was cancel the auto draft before I moved the number over to visible, and then I don't think I would be worrying as much as I am, but it's all good. We're going to figure it out. Okay, so fixed expenses total is $821. When you subtract that from the $23.75, you should get, I think that's right, that's it, $23.75 minus 821, yep, $15.54. All right, for my variable expenses, I have decided to give a little bit more to some of these and then cancel out the personal money that I was giving myself. So groceries, I've bumped that up to $250 now. I think it was at $220. You guys know why. Gas, I had it at $80. I'm bumping that up to $100. I've been helping Sweet sometimes with gas, and so I need to open that up just a little bit more. Home is still at $50. Dining is at $60. Over-the-counter meds is at $50, and Corinne is getting her $40. So that's a total of $550. When you subtract that from the $15.54, you get $1,004 that's left. When you look at debt, Kohl's is going to get their $42, Green Sky is going to get their $90, $100 the rooms to go, and I'm going to make a partial payment to Citi credit card of $100. Now remember, that is the next one in line and the one that I'm working on now. So we'll talk about in a moment the additional money that I'm going to give towards that. That will total $332, and then when you look at what's left over, you have $672 at that point. All right, so the savings and how are we going to handle this? So I've had to make a couple of changes here, and let's talk about them real quick. Number one, I already told you guys about the $499.95 for Verizon and the plan that I have for paying that back. I'm going to continue to build up my buffer, put as much money as I can into that, so that I can help offset the cost and get that paid off by the time it hits the credit card, the Allied credit card, and the payment is due on that on April the 11th. Well, in between all of that, like I mentioned earlier, 2025 is really tripping. I got a medical bill for the urgent care that for the urgent care visit that I had when I was diagnosed with the vid, and it shows that I owe a total of $404 for that. So I am going to call them to get an itemized invoice of that, just to see how much my insurance paid and make sure everything is on the up and up. I do have about 3 days to pay that, probably 4 days at this point, because when they sent it to me, they said in 7 days we're going to debit the card that you used for the initial payment for the remainder payment. And so I need to go ahead and give them another credit card to use and not my Chase Freedom for my everyday expenses. So I've got to contact them and let them know I'm using an alternate payment method and to get that squared away. But I also want to get a copy of the billing invoice to make sure that of what the numbers are. With that said, that $404, I'm going to charge that as well to the Allied credit card. But now that's almost $1,000 that I have to cover by April the 11th. So how am I going to do that? So the first thing you got to know is that I have emptied out my emergency binder. This is now empty, and I have reallocated the $215 amongst the envelopes that I've needed to. So that's done. And it will be done for a minute until I can get myself situated, get these bills taken care of, and then we will start to put money back in here again. My Sweets binder had a lot more envelopes than it does now. So now it's down to just date night, November birthday, and the YouTube one for budget or personal. All of the other, everything else has been emptied out, and that was another $120 or $150, and those have been allocated in my other envelopes as well to include the medical, to try and beef that up so that I can cover all of the expenses that I need to. So that's how I am handling these. I have $300 set aside, I think, right now in medical. Let's go there and see. So I haven't put anything extra in subscriptions or property care. So remember, buffer is the one that I've been putting a lot of this money in. So now I have $740 in there as I emptied the emergency prep binder and the sweets binder. Car maintenance is okay. In health, I have $250. So I have $250 in health. I need to come up with another $150 to so that the $400 is covered for the urgent care visit. So I'll be putting money in there and allocating more money towards my high priority sinking funds, as well as the savings challenge that I'm going to do. I'm going to try and finish the shut the box one and then take that money and supplement it into the medical as well. So my savings challenges this time around is not going to be where I'm going to, the video that I'll make for that, it's not going to be contributing to a lot of the different envelopes I have in there. I'm going to mainly concentrate on that shut the front door, so that hopefully I can get that finished. So what does that leave? So buffer is going to get $60 here. Car maintenance will get $15. Medical will get $25. And then subscription still gets $80. And property care gets $120. Just another note for the subscriptions, I did pause the Fubo. I got a notification, so that one is paused. But I did sign up for BET Plus, which is $5.99 a month. And so we'll be watching that instead of watching the Fubo instead. So we have BET Plus now, Paramount Plus. And I automatically get HBO Max and Hulu and Disney. HBO Max for free. Hulu and Disney is only $2.99. Okay. And then property care is getting its $120 as well. I did pause I extended the pause on the lawn care until April. It was supposed to start in March, but it's cold again. So we extended it to April. So around mid-April, you'll start to see some charges around the lawn care coming out on those. All right. So those are all, that's taken out of my buffer account, and that totals $300. And then for my variable account for my savings, I have, I'm going to contribute another $50 to the buffer account to help with offset the cost of that phone bill. Bonus Kids is only going to get 10 instead of 20, and that might be the amount going forward just until I take care of some of these other bills. Corinne gets 10. Family Fund is going to get $20 because I need to beef that up. My mom in love is coming into town the 1st of April, and she either wants to do the iFly, where she goes and does the you guys know what iFly is, where they put you in that funnel and it's like you're skydiving. So she either wants to do that or she wants to go back to a virtual room. So we'll see. Gifts is going to get 10. Date night is going to get 20. I need to put stuff back in there again. I'm not going to contribute to November B-Day or the YouTube Gems envelopes for right now. Little Beans binder is still going to get $30. Like I mentioned, savings challenge is going to get $100. Now, extra debt will get $75 from this check and the next check. That should total $150. That's the $100 extra that I always say I want to give towards debt every month. And that's the $50 that I normally would have paid for Best Buy, but now that they're paid off, I need to roll that into the payment. So Citi is going to get $100 partial from me for my regular bills account, and then another $75 as extra debt payment as well, because we got to keep this train moving. When you add all of that together, it's $325 coming from my variable account. So the $300 from bills and the $325 from variable equals $625. And by the looks of things, that should mean when you subtract that from $672, that I should have a total of $47 that's still available in the account. That plus the 25 should be around $60-70 that's in there. And then we'll decide what we need to do with that. Okay, very long video, but I did have a lot of things to cover, so it's all good. But that's what we're looking like as far as the budget is concerned for the check that I will receive on tomorrow. Okay, thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.